Hello, friends, and welcome to our discussions on active imagination. You must have seen two of our previous recordings, and we continue and we will continue to produce much more for you in this marvelous year of 2025. Dr. David Sarnoff is here, and so is Dr. Rodney Penniman. I'm Dr. Steinbeck Henry, and we just thought we'd talk about active imagination in 2025. For me, it is a wonderful opportunity for persons, given the nature of the environment in which we live and the restlessness that continues to grip world populations and the things that continue to unfold in the world. There's also a great opportunity for us to rise and be counted for some form of social justice, for some form of peace. And I think as we enter more and more into the second decade of the 21st century, we're almost coming to its end, we will discover that we're going to need more and more a system of prayer, a system of meditation, something to do with well-being. There are so many things out there that people are saying that people can do to help them get by. Or do we tap into your own resource? And that is what we're here. There's something in you that is imagination. You were born with it. It's in your very biology. It runs through all the organs of your body. You talk about mind. We want to bring these perspectives to you, not tell you so much what to say or do or chant, but to help you discover what is naturally your gift. The blood under your skin is yours. Your lungs are yours. Your heart is yours. Your fingerprints are yours. How do we get you to realize the resource that you have? And this is the beautiful thing. How do we get your imagination activated through what means? Do we find a way to get you to close your eyes, like everybody's closing eyes these days? And you close your eyes and you relax and you relax your shoulders and your feet. Is that and the rest of your body? Is that what it is? Do we get you to see behind your closed eyes? Is there something there that you can see? How does it bring you a sense of peace? How does it bring you a sense of calm? Does it decrease your blood pressure? I mean, those are some of the real things. So we can talk about all of those wonderful things when a child plays. How does that child feel? Observe how a child plays. So much. They are effortless. They are free and they run and laugh and jump and scream. Their imagination is alive. They are creating things constantly. How do we become like these children in our imaginations? And these are some of the questions. Then, of course, there's a larger matter of immersing yourself, where we can get quiet. David can play his flute, and we can take you through a particular journey. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you sense? And imagination, when you think of imagination, I guess you think of color. There's color, there's lilac, there's emerald green, there's purple, there are reds and pinks, there's color, there are images, there are so many things. What do these things mean to you? Do they say anything? And when you look at them, do they stay for you to describe them or do they move? I can tell you we have something particularly interesting to offer to you. So hang out with us. Gentlemen, you have to say something.
Well, Stein, when I think of active imagination, I see that as going to a higher level of consciousness. Many people right now are experiencing just survival. Their food, clothing. I think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and so they're at the base level: food, clothing, shelter. To me, active imagination is really going to the pinnacle of that pyramid of self actualization, which for many people is a bit of a jump when you're so focused on the basis of life. For those of us that are fortunate, that are have some sense of belonging, some sense of love and what have you, we can then begin to think about um, moving up that diagram, up that pyramid. And so, as you talked about active imagination, just what are some of the colors that we think about within active imagination? What are some of the things that we need to focus on when we hear the music? When David's playing the music, what does that take us? I always think of being in a field, and just of flowers, and that music always takes me to that place. But in part because I'm on a journey of self-actualization. I'm on a journey to hopefully one day get to that pinnacle. But right now, we're in a society that is so focused on the base level that many people struggle with this whole notion of getting outside of, well, everything's on the focus on the outside. You talked about, you know, our focusing on the inner, our blood, our lungs, our heart and all that. We unfortunately are so focused on basic survival outside of ourselves that we don't spend much time thinking what's going on within ourselves. How can we improve ourselves? How can we experience life differently? And so I think that the task and the journey for 2025, with all of the craziness that is going on in the world, is how we can stop, turn within, and say, okay, I need to go at a different path, because enough is never going to be enough. We're all, unfortunately, we're in a society where more is never enough. And so it's like the proverbial uh, donkey chasing the carrot. You know, will the donkey ever catch the carrot? And as we know, it doesn't. It just continues to try to catch this carrot that's dangling in front of it. And so we as individuals have to stop and say, okay, I need more. I need to turn within. I need to use my imagination to move to a different place in my life. So when you talk about uh, this whole notion of active imagination, as you say, there's a world out there of everything possible. And so being able to focus a little bit on the things that we need to think about, I think, is what active imagination is for me. And I think that's the goal for 2025. How can we use it to better ourselves, to better our lives, to get away from this notion of the grind, of trying to live day to day with food, clothing, shelter. So that's my take.
And my thoughts as you're talking has to do with, partly to do with my experience in my whole life and being a psychologist. And psychology in the United States has been a very secular kind of profession based on science. And there's been a long-term kind of disagreement lots of times between science and religion. If you think about some of the astronomers in the Renaissance who were persecuted by the church because they said the earth was revolving around the sun instead of vice versa. So now that's all changed now, but I think there is more agreement between science and spirituality, and the established religious groups like the mainstream religions in the world recognize science and the value of science and all participate in it. So I think what we need now in a difficult time is all the best scientific and spiritual knowledge of humanity to solve our problems together. And so in psychology, Jung was considered part of the field of psychology when I was studying it. And that made him kind of part of the secular or scientific aspect of the way we think. But yet on the other hand, he was very spiritual, and his ideas are similar to lots of religious ideas. And the way I think of it now is that really if there's one truth, and of course that's a whole other question now, is there such a thing as a truth? Because sometimes it seems like one person's truth is another person's lie, or it's hard to know who to believe exactly or what the truth actually is. But I think most people would agree that there's probably some real truth, like the earth is revolving around the sun. You know, the earth is not flat, the earth is round or whatever. There are some certain objective realities. It's a real truth that we all live by and live in and can agree with. So the truth can not be found completely by science or by religion, but each part of that and each aspect of science and religion only has a tiny little glimpse into the truth. But we need to put everything together for ourselves to make the best truth as possible, so we can make it the best world as possible. And so this active imagination is kind of a secular way that people could do something like prayer or meditation. It could be considered a spiritual thing, but it could also be considered something scientific, because scientists certainly have studied different breathing exercises and mindfulness and other things that lead to, different states of consciousness, more relaxation. So there's a lot of scientific basis for active imagination, as well as, a spiritual idea. I think the spiritual idea is that we're all connected, we're all one. The imagination is not just our own, but it's a place where our mind can connect to the minds of others and to the divine mind, and that we all can experience more individually and together. So that was what I thought of as you're talking.
Yeah, that
I'm
also
just
made,
thinking, mhm,
I was going to say that made me think of the whole notion of the collective unconsciousness
mhm,
that Young talked about, and how we unfortunately in many ways tap into the negative energy of that collective unconsciousness, and I think active imagination properly channeled can be a way to positively tap into the collective unconsciousness, because we're all on the same wavelength. Everything is, whether we understand it or know it or believe it or not, is energy, And so if our energy is being projected towards a collective unconsciousness, a positivity, well-being, health, whatever the case might be, then that's what we're going to project to the collective unconscious, and those that are tuned to that will pick up on those energy.
Mm,
Where again, there are forces that would have us again stay at that base level of Maslow's hierarchy of food, clothing, shelter, that grind, so that you never really begin to think about the ascending to a higher realm of thought and consciousness. So, but I'm sorry, Stan, I kind of interrupted you at the.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. The high realm, this business of transcendence, of rising, and so many things are running through my mind as I think of what you two are saying. Um, for instance, the fact that, yes, imagination, Rodney mentioned the human psyche, the collective unconscious. This is as old as the human race, and it is still evident in all our bodies today. Let me repeat this. This is as old as the human race, and it is still very evident in all our bodies today, which means that we carry in us the history of the development of the human race, and possibly the history of the development of the universe. Now, this is a very special relationship and a very special gift that we have. For instance, you are seated here listening to us, and you're wondering, what are these gentlemen saying? What should we do? If you just stopped a while and you listen to your heartbeat, it's strange. You probably never stopped to listen to it, but it is in you, and it is as old as the human race. Now, that's a very old organ. It's ancient, isn't it? And yet it carries all in it, the tissue, all of the stuff that comes from the first known human form of life. And yet it is in you. So it carries a wonderful history. Now, if you listen to it, sometimes it runs away. I spoke with a lady in Brampton, Hamilton, Ontario recently, and she told me she was having, some struggles with her traces of cancer and so on. And I told her, can we have a heart date? She said, a heart date? I said, yeah. He said, can we? Where you are in Hamilton and where I am in Stone Mountain, Georgia, can we just listen to our heartbeat? She said, for how long? I said, 30 seconds. He said, okay. So I said, it always feels a little better when you close your eyes. There's something about closing the eyes that deepens the thought. Hmm? So wherever she was and wherever I am, we close our eyes. And 15 seconds into the heartbeat listening, she said, I find your 30 seconds is very long, Dr. Henry. So we laughed about it. And then we spoke again a little more. And then I said, why don't we do another 30 seconds? And we said, okay, let's go. She closed her eyes. I closed my eyes over distance. And just as you can do. And we listened and listened. And then suddenly she said, oh my God, I'm falling asleep. I said, precisely. Because the sleep state is one level. You have the wake state, you have the sleep state. Inside the sleep state, you have a dream state. And inside the dream state, you have the transcendental state. So there's a lot of gift in you. Now, when David plays the flute towards the end of our discussion, why don't you just close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat and probably tell us what you think? Send us a note, send us a comment. But there is a lot in you, and this is what we want to declare and make open to you and your imagination. Did you
Did you
listen?
listen?
Did you get a little, did you feel a sense of laughter? There's a lot of laughter in imagination. Remember how children play? So there's a lot to be found. A little laughter at the end of the day, a little moment where you can relax and just close your eyes and just let your thoughts flow because they are your thoughts. And it is going to be a beautiful time. So we hope that you will continue to join us, gentlemen. I'm thinking this. I don't know what are your other thoughts, but it is a very beautiful moment. David, that flute was excellent.
Well,
I
thanks.
just,
It's
I
been a
just think
good
it,
time, and I'll look forward to next time.
I agree. I wish everyone an active imagination. Thank you.